Are cats A. shapeshifters, B. suffragettes, or C. able to tell you where in the house you should put your bed?
Is the answer all of them?
Yes. Welcome, fellow creatures of the night, to this meeting of the Midnight Culture Club. Here we venture deep into the nocturnal lands of the strange, the morbid, the absurd and the obscure in film, books, TV, fairy tales, urban legends and many other forms of pop culture. We discuss and analyse these texts to explore the fascinating ways they reflect, comment on and critique the world we live in from its darker side. I am Xenia, your over-motivated master of ceremonies, and tonight I am once again joined by a wonderful guest, a returning hero, if you will. It's Charlotte.
Returning hero?
Yes.
What an introduction, thank you. Hello. Thank you for having me back.
Of course.
I'm very excited.
It's great to have you back. And thus we can declare this meeting of the Midnight Culture Club officially in session. And this here episode, my dear bats and cats and kittens, is of course for all of you, but mostly for the cats and kittens, because today's episode is dedicated to the one animal that has had more appearances in mythology, folklore and fairy tales than any other, and that is the cat.
So this episode is not for the bat lovers?
There's no bats, but
they're still welcome. The bat lovers are still welcome.
They're welcome, but unfortunately there's just no bat appearances, I think.
It's okay.
I don't think I've had any explicit bat appearances, tragically.
Yet.
I need to rectify that, that's important.
I feel like you could do a little vampire moment, introduce some bats.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, the vampires are coming at some point. It's actually weird I haven't done a vampire episode
Actually,
yet.
that is really weird. Why haven't you?
I don't know. I have planned like a 2-part vampire thing, but it's very much still a draft. But eventually the vampires are coming.
Also, it's a huge topic. Well, looking forward to whenever it drops.
Exciting. But today, actually we have a slight vampire mention today. But for now, we will be talking about cats. And especially their sort of changing images that have morphed a lot over time and place, from sort of sweet and gentle, independent and clever, to the enigmatic and unreliable, to even being evil, or in some cases divine. Cats have been all of these things throughout historical periods and places, and that makes them really fascinating creatures to look at from like a myth perspective.
I'm so excited. I love cats in any and all forms.
Yes, they are great. We love a cat. I have a brief content warning. There is a little bit of non-graphic animal cruelty, a little bit of violence against cats, but it's very abstract. Just so you know. Because unfortunately people have been horrible to cats sometimes.
The worst.
We'll start with something a lot more cheerful than cat violence.
Like it's hard.
Yeah, I guess most things would be more cheerful than cat violence.
Perfect. I am ready.
Excellent. We will start with a little story, a very short and confusing story from the British Isles, titled The King of the Cats. This version comes from Joseph Jacobs' collection More English Fairy Tales, and first I thought this was like an old book, but turns out it's from the 2000s, so...
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I was convinced it was old.
Right? It
Yeah.
looks so old. I mean, it does collect like traditional tales, so it's like done in this style, but it's actually a new collection.
The more you know.
The more you know. And we are going to do this in an interactive way. So, Char, you've got a character to voice.
I'm so excited. This is my moment to shine.
You are, of course, voicing the cat.
Yes!
Basically, every time I point at you, you will say your line, and your line is meow.
You just want me to meow. Is that why I'm here? Is that why you invited me to be a guest on this podcast
exclusively
today?
To meow. No, actually, there is one full sentence that the cat says as well.
I hope I don't mess it up.
Oh, it's actually 2 sentences.
Imagine my CV. Meows really well.
I would love that. That's Excellent. Oh, I recently saw this video on Instagram. It's this guy who does like linguistics content. He's really fun. I don't know what his name is, I forget. But he's like this guy with the glasses.
Wait, I know him from TikTok.
Yes.
Love him. Like this American guy.
Yes.
That like always like references like random papers.
Yes.
Yes.
He's great. I think this is what I would be in a different universe where I focused on linguistics.
100% that would be you.
And he did a video recently about how apparently there's a rise in women meowing as like a bonding thing.
Is there? I did not see that one.
And he did like a poll, and I remember voting on the poll because he was like, "Are you a woman? And do you meow sometimes?" And I was like, "Yes, of course I do."
You meow sometimes?
I do sometimes.
When do you meow?
Mostly when I talk to cats.
That is acceptable.
But also sometimes with my family.
With your family?
Yes.
I love that. That's amazing.
And I found out that I have 2 friends who do that as well, so apparently it's not that weird.
I have to think about my meowing habits. I think with other cats.
So you are a cat?
With cats, I do meow.
Yeah.
Or I meow back when they meow.
Yes.
Don't know if I meow with people.
You are going to.
I guess I am.
Okay, so here comes our story. It's a cozy little tale with old-timey England vibes. One winter's evening, the sexton's wife was sitting by the fireside with her big black cat, Old Tom, on the other side, both half asleep and waiting for the master to come home. They waited and they waited, but still he didn't come, till at last he came rushing in, calling out, "Who's Tommy Tildrum?" in such a wild way that both his wife and his cat stared at him to know what was the matter. "Why, what's the matter?" said his wife. "And why do you want to know who Tommy Tildrum is?" "Oh, I've had such an adventure. I was digging away at old Mr. Fordyce's grave when I suppose I must have dropped asleep and only woke up by hearing a cat's meow."
The pressure is so high. "Meow,"
said Old Tom in answer. "Yes, just like that. So I looked over the edge of the grave, and what do you think I saw?" "Now how can I tell?" said the sexton's wife. "Why, 9 black cats, all like our friend Tom here, all with a white spot on their chestises. And what do you think they were carrying? Why, a small coffin covered with a black velvet pall, and on the pall was a small coronet all of gold, and at every third step they took they cried all together, 'Meow!'"
"Meow,"
said Old Tom again. "Yes, just like that," said the sexton. "And as they came nearer and nearer to me, I could see them more distinctly because their eyes shone out with a sort of green light. Well, they all came towards me, 8 of them carrying the coffin, and the biggest cat of all walking afront for all the world like... But look at our Tom! He's looking at me! You'd think he knew all I was saying." Go on," said his wife. "Never mind, Old Tom." "Well, I was saying they came towards me slowly and solemnly, and at every third step crying all together, 'Meow!'"
"Meow,"
said Old Tom again. "Yes, just like that, till they came and stood right opposite Mr. Fordyce's grave, where I was, when they all stood still and looked straight at me. I did feel queer, that I did, but look at Old Tom, he's looking at me just like they did." Go on," said his wife. "Never mind, Old Tom." Where was I? Oh, they all stood looking at me, and when the one that wasn't carrying the coffin came forward and staring straight at me said to me, yes, I tell he said to me with a squeaky voice, "Tell Tom Tildrum that Tim Tildrum's dead." And that's why I asked you if you knew who Tom Tildrum was, for how can I tell Tom Tildrum Tim Tildrum's dead if I don't know who Tom Tildrum is? "Look at old Tom," screamed his wife. And well he might look, for Tom was swelling and Tom was staring, and at last Tom shrieked out,
"What? Old Tim dead? Then I'm the king of the cats!"
and rushed up the chimney and was never more seen. Fantastic.
Thank you. That was my my debut as a meower.
Well done. You'd never think it was your first cat voice job.
I guess I'm just a natural. Also, well done with the Tim Toldrum, Tom Tildrum line. That one must have been hard to say.
The first time I read it, I didn't even realize they were two different names.
Same.
I was like, huh? What?
Also, I love the chestesses.
The chestesses.
Adorable.
So cute.
Yeah.
The cool thing about this story, aside from being fun, is that it reflects a lot of the qualities that have been assigned to cats over the centuries and that we're going to talk about. So, for example, there's the sort of general like magic and mystery that they kind of do things that are, we don't really know what's going on. That, for example, this random cat is the king of the cats, so apparently there's a whole separate cat society going on somewhere.
A cat kingdom,
A
you
cat
might say.
kingdom, yes, a cat kingdom. A catdom.
A catdom.
That they apparently can wander between these worlds. Also that there's a lot of humanization of the cat figures, that they talk and carry a coffin in a funeral procession like humans. Those are all things that appear again and again throughout different tales, and we'll see a lot of these details again. And there's another thing that I would like you to remember, which is that all these cats are black with a white spot on their chestesses.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I'm intrigued to find out more about that.
That is very important. We'll come back to that because there is a precursor for that.
Oh, a little teaser.
Yes. But I have another great discovery about this story. And since we are all Frankenstein fangirls here, if you listen to the podcast and you're not a Frankenstein fangirl,
go rectify that and return.
Yes. Exactly.
We don't want them to leave and never come back.
That's true.
They can change their ways.
Yeah, I guess watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show or the new Frankenstein. Those will convince you that it's fantastic. So, since we are Frankenstein fangirls, I have to tell you that there is a version of this story in Percy Bysshe Shelley's Journal at Geneva from 1816, the summer in Geneva, when Miss Mary, at the time Godwin and not yet Shelley, had an idea that changed literature forever.
That one night they exchanged ghost stories.
Yes.
I wish I was a fly on that wall.
Yes, oh my god.
Oh my god, the FOMO I have.
Absolutely. I would love. There's a Doctor Who episode about that.
Really?
Yes, where they go to the villa where they're in, and it's like just stormy outside, and they meet Mary Shelley and Lord Byron is really annoying, and there's ghosts in the villa. It's really cool.
That sounds perfect.
So yeah, absolutely. We wish we were there. There is a version of this story in Percy Shelley's journal from there, so I guess it was also told there at some point, because, you know, while Mary Shelley was changing the history of literature, Percy wrote down little ghost stories in his journal, and this one is one of them, and it's ghost story number 4.
Ghost story number 4. Do you think they meowed at each other at some point?
Yes, but also I don't want to imagine what Lord Byron would do with meowing.
You're right, let's not go there.
He's probably one of those furry guys with the little cat ear.
No.
But one of the ones who uses the cat ears to confuse you into thinking he's cute, but then he's evil. That's Lord Byron.
Yeah, he will be that kind of person.
Yeah, not good. Do you want to hear ghost story number 4?
Oh, I thought it was that story.
It is, but it's a little bit different.
I would love to hear ghost story number 4.
Very short. Okay. A gentleman on a visit to a friend who lived on the skirts of an extensive forest in the east of Germany lost his way. So this is the German edition. He wandered for some hours among the trees when he saw a light at a distance. On approaching it, he was surprised to observe that it proceeded from the interior of a ruined monastery. Before he knocked, he thought it prudent to look through the window. He saw a multitude of cats assembled round a small grave, 4 of whom were letting down a coffin with a crown upon it. The gentleman, startled at this unusual sight, and imagining that he had arrived among the retreats of fiends or witches, mounted his horse and rode away with the utmost precipitation. He arrived at his friend's house at a late hour, who had sat up for him. On his arrival, his friend questioned as to the cause of the traces of trouble visible in his face. He began to recount his adventure after much difficulty, knowing that it was scarcely possible that his friends should give faith to this relation. No sooner had he mentioned the coffin with a crown upon it, that his friend's cat, who seemed to have been lying asleep before the fire, leaped up saying, "Then I am the king of the cats," and scrambled up the chimney and was seen no more.
I love that they scramble up the chimney. It is so random, because why would they do that? Like, are they sprouting wings and flying away?
Maybe the chimney is the doorway to the cat dimension.
To the cat kingdom?
Yes.
Maybe.
Or maybe they just don't know how to open a door.
Yeah, they don't have the opposable thumbs, huh? Might be difficult.
No.
You're right.
Although, I'm sure I've seen videos of cats opening doors where they like jump up and like push down the handle with their paws.
True, I've seen that before.
So I think the king of the cats should be capable of doing that, but I guess not.
Maybe it's more dramatic.
That's true. It is more
to climb up the chimney.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty cool. I also love that, of course, Percy Shelley made it ultra gothic with like a ruin in the middle of the forest and there's fires and blah blah.
A multitude of cats.
A multitude of cats. Loads.
I love that phrase. So many cats. Also, it's so human of them to lower the coffin into the ground.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, why would you be scared if you saw that? I would be like, oh, that's amazing. These cats are so clever.
I would stay and watch. Like,
Yeah.
what happens next?
Yes, I want to know what the cats are doing.
Yeah.
I guess this gentleman is not as brave as we are, or as invested in cat activity.
He didn't want to interact with the cat kingdom.
Who doesn't want to interact with the cat kingdom?
Yeah, that's my question.
A foolish man. But I guess that's what happens if you're written by Percy Shelley.
You're onto something there.
I mean, Percy Shelley, literally a person who died because he went out in a boat in an actual storm. Like, he saw the storm and went out in a boat.
He had it coming for him.
But who wanted to interact with the cat kingdom were, of course, the ancient Egyptians.
They love their cat.
And that is our first little subsection of this episode, which is the divine cat.
Every cat is divine.
That is true.
And the Egyptians were the ones that recognized it first.
Yeah, they knew. They were very wise. They knew that the cats were special. There were two cat deities in ancient Egypt. We have Bast or Bastet, which is the lady with the cat head. And there is another goddess called Sekhmet, and she has a lion's head, but she's also basically a cat lady. Maybe I feel like this is pretty widespread knowledge, but that it was forbidden to kill cats, and when they died, they mummified them.
I've heard about that before. They
Yeah.
mummify the cats, and then they also like give them a burial.
Yeah, that's really cute.
So cute.
And I think a lot of them are buried in these temples for these cat goddesses. There's another cat-related goddess, which is Miss Freya from Norse mythology. She's not as catty as the other two, but she has the most iconic vehicle. She has a cat-drawn chariot.
That's iconic.
It's amazing.
I love that so much. She sounds very badass.
But I think it's interesting that because Freya is this goddess that is very desirable in Norse mythology, and I think she's also the goddess of like fertility, and she's also kind of a love goddess. So I think it's interesting that the cat is kind of associated with that as well, probably because they are so gorgeous. I only have one line of notes for the divine cat because that's the one that I kind of forgot to research because like, oh, I know that stuff.
I think that's already plenty.
The other ones are more in-depth. So yeah, those are the, I guess, best known cat goddesses. It's also interesting that they're always goddesses. There's not really any male cat gods.
Yeah, like the female energy that's like connected to cats.
We'll see that returning over and over again. So I guess the cats, apart from Tom, who's a tomcat.
Who is the king of the cats?
Exactly. He's a boy, but most cats are girls.
Support cats' rights and wrongs.
Exactly. Did you also, as a child, think that cats were girls and dogs were boys?
What? I did not.
I was convinced.
How would they procreate?
I mean, I did not think that far. I was
That's
just
fair.
like, cats are girls, obviously, look at them. And dogs are boys, also, look at them.
I do see where you're coming from. It does make sense.
Right?
I mean, I do see like how cats are like, seen as like graceful, very put together.
What is also cat energy is being magic. Because cats, in general, very magical creatures. In fact, in Europe, before cats were commonplace, People often believed that they were mythical figures, so they appeared in like myths along creatures like dragons or basilisks, because people were like, oh, these are clearly fictional creatures, so we will treat them as such.
Like something about these animals is just different. There's a different vibe about them. They must be like mythical.
Exactly. And I think they mostly had read about them or like seen drawings and were like, oh yeah, well that's clearly not a real animal.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really funny. When people found out that they were actually real animals in Europe, I mean, everybody else already knew it, they were a bit behind. They were also assumed to be related to reptiles or birds.
The cats?
Yes, for some reason.
Interesting, because usually cats eat reptiles and birds.
They do, yeah, it's true.
Huh.
And also, they are furry. They don't have feathers or like
Scales?
reptile skin. Yes, scales.
Reptile skin.
Reptile skin. Like, they look very different.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this cannot be a mammal. This has to be something else.
Mm-hmm.
Let's assume they're related to two different kinds of species.
Yes.
Wow. I love quote-unquote science
Yes.
of the medieval times. Amazing.
Another thing that cats have in common, that's part of their magic vibe, is that a lot of the time they can shapeshift.
They can shapeshift.
They can shapeshift in many, many different stories. For example, there is a version of the King of the Cats story from Scandinavia where the cat is a disguised troll and not actually a cat at all. So he's like the king of the trolls, but he's in hiding as a cat.
Wow. I love that. Good for him. So cats can shapeshift into other like mythical creatures.
I guess they can. I think what we're probably more familiar with is that they're kind of familiars of witches, and witches can turn into cats.
True.
Also kind of a common one. We'll get to some other shape-shifting stories later on. But in general, very talented at shape-shifting, these cats. A majority of the stories I found include some sort of shape-shifting. So apparently, the people across the world decided that cats are shapeshifters. You know what? I think it might be because they are so, like, fluid.
Oh yeah, like sometimes it seems like they don't have limbs.
Yes.
Like when they're asleep and then you lift them up and they just don't move.
Yeah.
And they're all floppy. Yeah.
Or when they, like, climb into glass jars and they just adapt to the shape of the jar.
Yeah.
I guess that's shape-shifting as well, in a sense.
It is in a sense.
One of these shape-shifting cats is the cat she. They are elfin cats or fairy cats from the Highlands of Scotland.
Exciting.
I think the figure exists across sort of like the Celtic world, but they are mostly associated with the Scottish Highlands. And they are very big. They are black. And they have a white spot on their chestises.
On their chestises?
They do.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it's quite possible that, given that the King of the Cat's tail is also from the British Isles, that this detail comes from the cat she.
I do see that.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so is it one singular cat or is it a clan of cats?
I think it's kind of a type of creature. So there's more than one.
Okay.
When they meet people, they are said to usually have like their backs arched and their bristles are like erect. So they are in attack mode.
They don't like people, huh?
They really don't. They like to be left alone in the wild where they live. There's also a rumour from the Folklore Scotland website. This is where I found this. They didn't make it up, but there is a rumour about these cats that they only walk on all fours in front of humans, but once the humans are gone, they walk on their hind legs when nobody can see them.
So they could walk on two legs, but they choose not to in front of humans?
Yes.
Wow.
So that the humans think, oh, this is just a cat, but they are actually...
something entirely different.
Yes, they're actually a type of fairy creature.
Amazing.
They're also a little bit evil. So basically, the thing with the cat she is, because they are fairies, they can walk around freely on the night of Samhain, Halloween. And on this night, people are supposed to place milk outside their houses for the cat she, because the cat she will then have a nice little milk snack. And if you do this, then the cat she will bless the household for the next year.
That sounds very useful. I would put milk outside.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But if you don't, the catchy will be like, fuck these people, and she will curse you so that your house will have no milk for a year.
No, that's so evil. Oh my god. What if you just ran out that evening? You're like, oh damn, like I guess no milk for the fairy cats.
Yeah, well...
And then the fairy cats punish you for an entire year?
Yes. Back then, of course, it was kind of more important than now, because usually this would mean that the family's cows would not give any milk, and that's not great for them, of course. I don't know if today would be as much of an issue. Like, I don't know if you can find, like, a loophole with, like, vegan milks or something like that.
Oh, that is an interesting thought.
Yeah, like, if you just drink oat milk instead of cow's milk, will the cat allow that, or does it also curse the oats?
And that would be another kind of problem.
Yes, because then you also don't have oats.
Exactly.
And then you're gonna starve if you're a person in the...
rural Scotland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feed your catchy milk on Halloween.
So,
Very
if you're
important.
listening to this before Halloween, you know what you need to do 31st of October.
I mean, I guess if you're a vegan, you're fine. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter for you, I guess.
You're good. Or, again, I don't know, lactose intolerant people like Charlotte.
I think I'm also fine.
But again, I'm not sure how this rule applies to, like, plant milks. So I will have to consult a catchy on that. Like, have they expanded because they realize, oh, the world has changed, so now if I want to mess with people, I also have to curse the plant milks. But I don't know.
You will go investigate and report back.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go into the Highlands, find one of the catchy and ask them.
Perfect.
Now, that is not the only kind of mischief that the catchy gets up to, because it was believed that the catchy could steal the souls of the dead that had not yet made the passage from the land of the living to the land of the dead. So they would, like, sneak around places where burials took place, which I think also fits the
story.
Yes, they are graveyard cats. So they sneak around there and hope that they can snatch the souls.
What do they do with the souls? Do you know?
I don't really know. What you'll notice is that a lot of these stories say stuff like, oh, the cat will steal this, or the cat will do X, Y, Z. But there's never a reason for the cat to do it. The cats just do that.
They just like to mess with humans, I guess.
Yes, and cause chaos.
A little mayhem.
Yes. You know, it's the classic, oh, I should not throw this thing off the table. But I will.
It makes such a good sound once it hits the floor.
Exactly, it's a classic cat move of the senseless mischief.
That does make sense.
Yeah, they've just always been like that. But yeah, in the old Scottish Highlands, they also stole souls. And because of this, there were special guards for the dead bodies. They have a very complicated Gaelic name that I will try to say, but I will probably say it wrong.
Good luck.
They're called the Hadalach, I think.
It sounded really good to me.
Okay, great. I'm pretty sure about fail, but I'm not sure about the second word. So these guys, their job was to watch over bodies that were about to be buried, and of course the souls they contained, to keep the cats away. And they would play games and wrestle and play music and dance and tell riddles, because all of this stuff was supposed to distract the cats.
From stealing the soul.
Yes, because if they are busy watching you do a dance, they forget about the souls.
I love that logic.
And that would keep them away until the time of the burial. And once the body's buried, the cat can't get to it anymore and can't steal the soul anymore.
Imagine you're paid to dance and tell riddles and joke around and
great.
entertain cats, basically.
Honestly, perfect job.
It sounds like such a good job. Like, yes, you're surrounded by corpses, but also
cats.
Also cats.
And you get to play with the cats. I don't see any issues with this. Like, perfect job.
I would struggle to pronounce my occupation.
Yeah.
My job.
If anybody asks you what your job is,
I'd be like, listen, let's not get into this.
No, I'm just the guy who plays with the cats, okay? I said earlier that the catchy can also shapeshift. They do sometimes appear as like sort of spectral ghost cats, or like ghost figures. That's kind of the extent of their shapeshifting. So they are not like the really top-notch shapeshifters, but
So they cannot shapeshift into trolls.
No, they can't. They can only shapeshift into ghost versions of themselves and like other ghosty creatures.
Amazing.
But that's quite good too.
I feel like that's still very useful.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to steal some souls.
Being a ghost would help.
Yes.
Moving through walls would help.
Absolutely. I don't know if they can do that, but probably.
They will find a way.
I wonder if they are, you know, with the milk stealing and the cursing households, I wonder if they are related to the Icelandic Christmas cats that we talked about.
The Icelandic Christmas cats. Yes.
It's kind of giving, you know, mischievous little demon.
Yeah, that just like kind of want to make life hell for humans. But also they're cute, so
Yes.
you know.
The good kind of annoying mythical creature.
That's it.
There is a similar creature to the catshi from Slavic folklore. It's called the Bayun cat. Bayun cat is canonically a boy, which makes it unusual in the world of cat lore. And he is also a giant black cat who lives in the countryside, so that seems to be kind of standard for the myth cats. It tells magical tales and sings people to sleep. However, they do not do this out of the goodness of their heart.
I was about to say, there's a hook.
Because once you are soundly dreaming, Bayun cat will have you as a lovely snack.
So they lure you to sleep and then they eat you like alive?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that is quite evil of them. I guess I prefer the cat that will just steal my soul? Question mark?
Question mark.
I don't know what's worse.
Both not great. I guess I prefer the cat where you can just like put a little dish of milk outside.
Yeah.
And then the two of you are good and your house is blessed with milk.
Yes. We'll go with that one. Oh, that reminds me of something that is not related to cats, but it's a great side fact, so I will just tell you anyway.
Go on.
Because, and I think I specifically did not tell you this because I wanted to tell you on the podcast.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
I found this out months ago. Did you know that butterflies are witches?
No. Wait, tell me more.
So, because I wondered why butterflies are called butterflies, so I looked it up. And apparently butterflies are called that because people used to think in medieval Europe that butterflies were witches in disguise as butterflies who used this disguise to steal people's milk.
Oh my god, I love that so much. I love how like humans see like a pretty thing and they're like, this has to be a shapeshifter.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
What else could it be if not a witch?
That's it.
So yeah, next time we see a butterfly, that's a witch and she's coming to steal your milk. Good for her. Maybe not so good for you.
Do you think there's like vegan witches that steal your oat milk and almond milk?
Probably. I think the witches are pretty far ahead in
They
the
adapt.
vegan gang.
Probably.
Witches have, I am a lady who lives in the forest and eats tofu and mungo beans energy.
I'm sure there's almond witches out there.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, that's the story of the butterfly. Oh, what if you did a cartoon for kids or adults, us, where the catchy teams up with the butterfly witch to just wreck people's milk supplies?
Oh my god.
That would be great.
That would be so good. Like a cat with a little butterfly sidekick that's also a witch.
Yes,
That's so cute.
that would be great. Oh, somebody needs to make this.
Artists, listen up. We will love you forever. Text Enya.
Yes, please. Back to Bayun cat, the Slavic folklore cat who will eat you, possibly. The thing is that you kind of don't know what you're getting with this cat because they might eat you, but they can also be really nice. Like, their purring can have healing powers, apparently.
Oh, so it just depends on what the cat is feeling like right now.
I think so.
Like if the cat is hungry, you're cooked.
Yes.
Wow.
What's interesting about it is also that, you know, there is definitely this threatening side, but it's also like wise and creative, as in the storytelling and the singing, but apparently it can also give really good advice. I guess you just don't know what you're going to get with this cat.
You just have to like hang out with the cat on a good day.
And then it's great. But if you catch the cat on a bad day, I guess you'll end up as cat snack. Proceed with caution.
But also I love that the purring has healing qualities.
That's really cute.
Because a cat purring is something so wholesome.
That's true.
And to then be like, oh yes, this will heal like your ailments.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
So sweet.
They were onto something there.
100%.
In general, in Russian folklore, cats are ambivalent creatures of the threshold.
The threshold.
Of the threshold, because they are kind of associated with kind of the threshold of houses. They are seen as spiritual guardians of houses, and loads of cats have actually guarded the Winter Palace and the museum that's now in the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg for generations. And apparently at the moment there are, according to Wikipedia, 74 cats.
74!
Who,
yes, oh my god!
who guard the palace and run around in the palace. And they just live there.
A selected few, but 74 is a
lot. Of cats. Yes.
Oh my god.
And these cats, their job is to be like the spiritual protectors of the house. And they used to be cared for by servants back in the day. And then after the October Revolution, when the Tsars were overthrown, they were looked after by volunteers.
God.
Because they were like, yeah, well, we destroyed our monarchy, but the cats, you know, it's not the cats' fault. We have to still look after the cats.
They still need to protect the houses, obviously.
Exactly. And today, it's employees of the museum and I think of the council who look after the cats.
Another job I want.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Fantastic.
I'm coming out of this podcast with 3 new job prospects. I'm gonna be a meower, a professional meower.
Yes.
I'm gonna dance and entertain, like a dance for the cats, entertain the cats, and I'm gonna feed the cats in Russia.
Exactly. Perfect.
Wonderful.
So many good jobs.
Yes.
And these Russian house guardian cats are also where the story comes from that we briefly mentioned at the beginning, that the cat tells you where to put the bed in a new house. According to tradition, the first creature to enter a new house is supposed to be a cat, because then it can spread its protective magic through the house. And the place where the cat first lies down is where you should put your bed, because that is where you will get the most restful and, yeah, sort of protected sleep. That's where the cat magic is the strongest.
Feng Shui is so yesterday. Today, we trust cats.
Yes. Isn't there something in the Bible where they have to found a city? No, that's not the Bible. That's like mythology, Greek mythology.
You mean the Roman Empire?
There's a story where, I think there's loads of stories like that. I think there's also one about the city of Durham in the north of England. And like loads of other places. But I think Rome as well, right? Where they follow a cow, and where the cow lies down, they have to found the city.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like that.
I love that so much. I love the randomness of deciding. They're like, an animal will make a better decision than me.
I mean, they're probably right. I mean, I don't know about the cat in the house, but I feel like the cow will probably lie down somewhere where it's kind of somewhat fertile and there will be water nearby. So, smart cow.
Smart cow. Smart cat.
Yes. Oh, and cats are also apparently the only animals that are allowed to enter Russian Orthodox temples.
Oh, so they're allowed.
Yes, all the other animals are not, but cats are allowed in.
I love that they're getting special treatment
Yes.
from all parts of the world.
Correct. Wikipedia says that in all Orthodox Christianity this is the case. Personally, I cannot remember hearing of this rule in Greece, because that's also Orthodox, and I've been to Greece a lot. I have to ask my mom, maybe she knows it. I could imagine that, because the cats are everywhere, so I guess they might as well be in the church.
I think at that point, they're not stopping them anymore.
No, I don't.
The cats are just wherever they want to be.
Another Russian cat fact. Especially.
Oh, this one is a fact?
Oh yeah, of course. They are also death related. They guide the souls of the dead over the boundary to the underworld. Instead of stealing the souls like the Scottish cats, they will help the souls cross over into the afterlife.
That's actually really sweet.
So
they
like,
accompany the souls.
Yes. Also, death itself may appear in the form of a cat, which is much nicer than the guy with the, what's it called, the scythe.
Much better. I would rather meet a cat at my end.
The Russian folklore cats also have one more incredibly hardcore power. So, what do you think happens when one of these Russian folklore cats jump over the body of a dead person.
So either it's very good or very bad.
Yes, that would be in line with our previous experiences with these cats.
That's it. But I don't really know which one it is.
The person will turn into a vampire.
Which is also either very good or very bad.
Yes.
I guess.
So I guess that's kind of similar again to the stealing souls
Oh
thing.
yeah, like when they jump over you, your soul cannot cross over.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're stuck.
Yeah, and then you're stuck. Then you become a vampire. You have to return. And also Eastern European vampires are wild because they just come out of their graves and like creep out people and basically...
Turn into bats?
No.
No?
No.
I wanted a bat mention so bad.
Unfortunately not. They don't turn into bats. They're more like... They're basically sleep paralysis demons.
Oh, okay.
So they come back and they sit on your chest and they take away all your energy and you get sick. That's kind of the classic Eastern European vampire.
That's so unsexy. That's so not Twilight.
Yeah, they are very pre the sexy vampires.
Pre-sexy vampires, got it.
Sexy vampires also created by Lord Byron. Because of course they were.
Of course they were.
Yeah, he really said, you know what, if these disgusting, half-rotted people who come back from the grave and steal your energy, what if they were hot?
What if they were super desirable?
Yes.
So cats have the power to turn humans into vampires.
Yes.
That is pretty powerful.
That is very powerful. Honestly, these cats are...
Cats truly contain multitudes.
They do.
They steal souls, accompany souls, trap souls in the bodies.
Yeah. They can do so many
Spoil
things.
your milk.
Wish I had half of those skills.
Even just one would be cool.
Yeah, even one. Imagine being able to turn people into vampires. This magical dimension that we've talked about now also includes a very typical characteristic that cats share across many cultures, which is that cats are sort of guides, magical guides to humans, and they can move between the worlds very easily. And today that is something that we often see in like children's fantasy stories.
Oh.
There they often still have that function.
Oh, when like children follow a cat and then they stumble into another world.
Yeah. You actually gave me a book that's exactly that. It's called The Cat Who Saved Books.
I remember that book, yes.
And that is a story, it's a Japanese book, and it's about this boy who works in his grandfather's bookshop, and there's this cat, and the cat guides him through the bookshelves into an alternative world where he has to save books and like save the art of reading and appreciating literature. It's really cute.
I love that.
So that is a classic magical guide cat.
I love that it's just widely assumed that cats know more than you. And they do more than you.
Yeah, they're just
superior to humans in every way.
And I don't disagree. I mean, another classic example of this is the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland, who's kind of the only person who helps Alice.
I used to be obsessed with the Cheshire Cat.
I love
that cat so much with the white grin.
Yes.
And it can turn into the moon.
That is fantastic.
So good.
Another shapeshifter cat.
You're so right, another shapeshifter cat.
Yeah, cats are just magic shapeshifters who can move between worlds. This actually brings us to our next category of cat. We've already touched on it a little bit in the magic section.
A category?
A category, yes.
Sorry, go on.
Because this one is closely related to the magical and the supernatural cats, and that is the recurring figure of the evil cat.
You mean the ones before were not evil?
I mean, they were also evil, but they also had some redeeming qualities. They were morally great cats. The cats are also rarely just good or just evil. They're usually a little bit of both, but these are just evil. Most of this comes from the association with witches and the devil. So these evil cats are usually medieval European cats because, you know, you needed a reason to hate someone, I guess.
Oh, it's the thing of you see a black cat and that means bad luck for you?
I think that is somewhat related. Interestingly, that exists in quite a few cultures, the black cat. that is bad
Interesting.
luck, but there's also cultures where black cat is good luck.
It's either very good or very bad.
Exactly. It's just, I guess that's just what cats do. They are just the dichotomy of cats. So yeah, this idea of the evil cat mostly comes from medieval Europe, where it's just purely evil. And during this period in Europe, cats became connected with evil powers. This was related to two things. One was that cats were considered as kind of lewd and immoral and like seductive.
I mean, I feel like where we get the female energy back, or like the connection to the female energy.
Yes.
You promiscuous little being.
Exactly, just getting slut-shamed gang, women and cats. So that was part of it. And the other part was that Christian symbology, they are associated with Satan. I would assume that, to call back to the last episode, they're associated with Paradise Lost Satan because they are cool and sexy.
I support that wholeheartedly.
Right. Apparently there is a tradition of European paintings of the Last Supper where the cat represents Judas.
Oh.
So the cat is like the traitor who leads to the downfall of Christ.
That is very drastic.
That is very drastic. Like, I don't know what cats have done to deserve that. But the really horrible thing is that because of this symbology, cats became connected with witches. Together with ravens, black cats to this day are frequently kind of seen as these like familiars of witches, or they are associated with witches, and that already began back in the Middle Ages, and it's something that's lasted up to now. What's really, really sad is that this has led to a lot of cruelty towards cats in the medieval and early modern period.
Wait, I hate that.
Yeah, it's really horrible. So a lot of the time during witch trials, cats were burned alongside their owners.
No, that is so bad.
Leave the cats. What has the cat done? I mean, the people usually also hadn't done anything because they were made up crimes.
They like burnt the witch, or like the woman in that case, and her cat at the stake.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, the whole witch trial stuff is another rabbit hole.
We're not going down there.
We're not going down there now, but I think it's kind of interesting that, and we'll see another example of this later, that sort of the oppression and violence against women and the violence against cats were kind of related. And there was even a cat massacre in France in the 1730s, where as a result of this kind of build up of animosity towards cats because they were like associated with witches, they basically just murdered loads and loads of cats.
That is horrible.
Yeah. Let's not do that, okay?
Let's not do that.
But I guess the French in the 1700s were kind of in the massacre business.
It was kind of on brand for them.
Cats, the monarchy.
Potato, potato.
A lot of massacres, okay? But, I mean, the cats were completely innocent. The aristocrats, I can see the idea behind it, but not with the cats.
Leave the cats out of this.
Yes, we don't want any cat violence. So, unfortunately, these stories have had very real impacts on the lives of actual cats.
Imagine you're a cat in like ancient Egypt. You know, you get a proper burial and you're mummified.
Yeah.
Or you're a cat in the 18th century.
Yeah.
And you
Just
get massacred.
Yeah.
My god.
Very good or very bad.
Truly the extremes.
I actually noticed something about this cat witchcraft connection that goes back to the third episode of this podcast, which was the one about We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. And they're also talking about witches and werewolves. And the younger sister, who is like the weird girl who like runs through the forest and like buries coins as protective talismans and does spells and things, like very witch coded. Her name is Mary Cat.
Oh my god.
And she has a cat companion, a familiar called Jonas, who runs through the forest with her. And he also sometimes just disappears and then he appears again. So he also has this appearing, disappearing, wandering between the worlds kind of quality.
I love that connection.
Miss Shirley Jackson just knew what she was doing. I didn't want this evil cat corner to be so Eurocentric, so I went to look for some global evil cats. And fear not, they exist.
They exist all around the world?
Yes, there are some Japanese cats. Japanese mythology with their cat tales also very much fits into they're either very good or very bad. I think that's our unofficial slogan now. In Jeremy Roberts' Japanese Mythology A to Z, the entry for cat tells us that in Japan, cats were also associated with witches and ghosts that cast evil spells, or sometimes they just straight up physically attack. This was especially widespread in like the Buddhist thought. There, cats really get called out because they were apparently the only animal that did not cry when Buddha died.
No, so they're automatically considered evil because of that?
Yeah, that's highly suspicious. Here, they go full shapeshifter mode because these Japanese cats, they can shapeshift into humans, usually women. So their shapeshifter skills are on a whole different level. They can also shapeshift into huge, like, specters, which is excellent too.
Iconic.
Of course, yes. There are a lot of paintings of, like, cat scenes from Japanese myth where, for example, one of those giant specter cats attacks a samurai.
Who won, do you know, between the samurai and the cat?
I think the samurai won, but I was rooting for the cat. Obviously. Generally, cats and samurai appear to be natural enemies. They're always fighting each other in these tales.
Interesting.
Especially, of course, the ones where the cats are evil. There is a particular folktale where a gang of supernatural cats live in a forest. I imagine they have like little guns and, I don't know, little bandanas or something like that.
Amazing.
And they decide to terrorize the nearby village for basically no reason, but in classic Minotaur fashion, because they ask for a virgin to be sacrificed to them once a year.
Oh my god.
Yes. I don't know why people are just doing what these cats want. I mean, I guess they are supernatural cats. They can probably really mess with them.
I don't know, people might rather sacrifice an innocent virgin, I guess, rather than be tormented by cats all year round.
I guess.
Still kind of fucked up.
Yeah, because the version that I saw, they didn't tell us anything about the other tormenting that the cat did before asking for the virgin. Because I was thinking, okay, they probably did some bad stuff before, so people would comply with the cat's demands.
Yeah.
Because you're not just giving people a random person every year to...
So nothing happens.
Yeah. But then one year, a brave samurai appears, the natural enemy of the cat, and he tricks the cats. Because instead of giving them the young girl who was chosen to be sacrificed to the cats this year, they do a lottery for that, by the way.
Hunger Games?
Yes.
Yeah.
So instead of giving them the girl, he gives them a cage with a very angry dog inside. So when the cats, who apparently cannot tell the difference between a girl and a dog inside a cage...
Wow.
Apparently that's not part of their supernatural powers. So they open the cage... And then the dog attacks the cats. Attacks the cats. The dog attacks the cats. And the samurai uses this moment of surprise to also attack the cats and kills the leader of the cats.
Old King Tom, maybe?
The Japanese version of Old King Tom, yes. And he beheads him.
That's very drastic.
That is very drastic. I mean, I guess this cat was like... a murderer, but still. We support cats' wrongs. So yeah, that's how the reign of terror of the supernatural cat gang ends. Because the rest of the cats, they just like run away after their leader is dead, and then they kind of don't appear again, I guess.
Wow, so the samurai, with the help of a dog...
managed to kill a cat.
Yeah.
Very heroic.
So heroic.
That's the end of this story, but there's a little bit more about the Japanese cat.
I'm excited.
Because some of them are much nicer than these cats. These are like the worst of the Japanese cats. A lot of them are just like little tricksters, so they're like cheeky little guys, but they're not evil. They just do a little bit of mischief.
Cause a little mayhem.
Yes.
As we know that cats tend to do.
Exactly. But some are even supposed to be good luck, helpful, and kind. So there's one tale from Sado where there's a poor old couple and they have a very talented little cat who can sing and dance. And this cat transforms into a human woman and then works as a geisha. And because the cat can sing and dance so well, it can also do that in human form. She makes a lot of money with her singing and dancing, and then the couple no longer have to worry about money, and they are rich because the cat was so talented.
Oh my god, the cat saved the day.
Yes.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's a very good cat.
Such a good cat. Amazing.
And that's actually a lucky black cat, because that's a black cat.
Justice to the black cats.
Yes, justice for black cats. And this final Japanese cat's ability to turn into a person brings us to another category.
A category?
A category.
Perfect.
And that is the kind of humanized cat. Especially as time went on and cats were no longer just, they kind of came out of this evil phase again. There was like a strong tendency to humanize them. And I would like to show you a painting for this.
Oh my god, I adore this painting. This is perfect. So cute.
What is it?
So you have a little table and there's cats on it and they're reading a book, right?
They're actually singing. It's like a book of
it's musical
music.
notes.
Yes.
So they're singing.
Yes.
And then you have two little monkeys that are dressed up and they're like playing instruments, I guess.
Yes.
And you have a little owl that's just there.
Yes, the owl is observing.
That is adorable. I love the little cats singing. And like, I guess they can read in this like pocket universe, and then they sing. It's like a whole little like band that they have going on with the monkeys.
They're having a good time.
They're having such a good time.
This painting is called Cat Concert.
Cat Concert.
It's by the Flemish painter David Teniers, something like that. And it's from the 17th century. And it's actually one of many paintings that are kind of in a similar way, where cats do kind of human activities. There's also one by, I'm not sure if it's like this painter's father or someone related to him with the same last name, Abraham Teniers, who did a painting that is at the cat's hairdresser.
Oh my god.
I think the hairdressers are monkeys and the cats are having their hair done.
They're getting a little perm.
Yes. A perm?
That was beautiful, thank you.
It's my best work. So yeah, this is part of a big trend that also exists around cat stories, where cats kind of do human stuff. It depends a little bit where. I think in much of Europe it was a little bit earlier, but in the UK, for example, this became a thing in the 19th century when cats became popular pets, and they started to appear in many nursery rhymes where they often were humanized. Usually they could speak and were very intelligent, and sometimes they could do other stuff like play music, as we've seen in the painting.
Go to the hairdresser.
Go to the hairdresser, get a
Cute.
nice little haircut. But of course, the prime example of the humanized cat is Puss in Boots.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I'm so glad we're going in that direction. Amazing.
The first version of this that's actually called Puss in Boots is by Charles Perrault, who's this guy who wrote all of these French fairy tales. Yes, so that's Puss in Boots, also known as Antonio Banderas, of course.
Of course.
Since Shrek.
Amazing. A cultural reset, one might say.
The Shrek Puss in Boots is very much in the vein of these kind of humanized cats, in that it can speak, it wears human clothes, because that's often something that the humanized cats do, and that kind of allows them to enter the human world and do human stuff there.
He also walks on his hind legs, right?
He does, and he's also incredibly charming. So a lot of the time these humanized cats are like very clever and kind of a little bit wily, but they're also very seductive in that they can get people to do what they want them to do. So they kind of use their cat charms that they have in human ways.
They know how to flirt. They know how to seduce a human.
Exactly. They know how to sneak your money away from you. That's also something they often do. And in the original Puss in Boots, of course, the cat also uses his very cat-specific skills, which is hunting mice, to rescue the main character, because the main character is like the son of, I think, a wealthy farmer. and he's the youngest son. So all the older sons, they get like parts of the farm and money, and he only gets the cat. And he's like, what am I gonna do with just this cat? So he thinks he can eat the cat, but the cat is like, no, don't eat me.
I'm actually super smart and super capable and charming and just amazing all around.
Exactly. And the son is like, what, this cat can talk? And then the cat asks for boots. That kind of apparently is his entry card into the human world, because a cat that's just talking like that, you'd be like, oh, that's weird. But if a cat is wearing boots, you're like, that checks out.
Now it makes sense.
Now I shall do business with this cat. And at the end of the story, he rescues the son from the villain of the piece, who conveniently transforms himself, he's like an evil magician, transforms himself into a mouse so that the cat can easily catch and snack him.
That is so convenient for Puss in Boots.
And what's kind of cool about these tales is that these humanized cats often kind of take advantage of both their human traits and their cat traits, so they are both very useful, and in combination they win.
They turn super human / super cat. They take the best of both worlds and use it to their advantage.
Exactly, that's what they do. And in these stories, the cat is usually very much characterized by the fact that it's very clever. There's actually a similar Slavic version of the Puss in Boots tales where it's not a cat but a fox.
I love that.
And I think that's kind of representative of the specific qualities that stand out, because the fox is always also this kind of really smart, kind of sneaky guy in fairy tales.
He always gets his way.
Also, I feel like the fox would look very cool in boots.
Have you seen the Robin Hood version? The Disney Robin Hood version?
Absolutely. That is a great fox.
Great example of a fox in boots.
Yes. And he's also very smart, very clever.
So true, a little sneaky.
Mm-hmm. There's actually an older version of Puss in Boots, French and Italian versions. And in these versions, the cat is female, not a boy like Puss in Boots' cat. And in fact, this cat is an enchanted princess.
Oh my god.
She has done the double shapeshift, I guess.
It's the Uno reverse card of it all.
Interestingly, according to the article where I read this in, oh, and I forgot to tell you, because a lot of this stuff is from the same article. It's by, what's her name? Maria Nikolaeva. She has this fantastic article about kind of the history of literary cats. It's really cool. And she says that in these older French and Italian versions, the cat is a girl, and that Perrault deliberately changed the gender of the cat to male because the male cat apparently is more associated with being kind of adventurous and mischievous and kind of a little bit cheeky, whereas cats, female cats, still had at this time this stain of being associated with witchcraft and shapeshifting and mystery, and they were also a lot more sexualized than male cats.
Same old, I guess. We do live in a society.
We sure do. Yeah, but it's interesting that apparently he deliberately changed the gender of the cat to make it kind of less loaded. So now it's kind of more of a neutral, fun, cheeky cat and not an evil, sexy cat.
Which would have been also a very fun version.
Yes.
Sorry.
I'm imagining sort of like Eartha Kitt, Catwoman era.
That would have been so good.
It would have been amazing.
So good. I wish that existed.
Well, we can still watch Eartha Kitt as Catwoman.
So true.
And I think she wears boots. I'm not sure. I think she
Even
does.
better.
Another male cat from a little bit later, but also kind of this idea of the intelligent cat, but this also kind of focuses more on the cat's independence, is there is a poem by Rudyard Kipling, who did The Jungle Book, about the cat. And that is called The Cat Who Walks by Himself. And this is a cat who like wanders from place to place, and every time he doesn't like something, he just goes to the next place. Kipling points out that the cat is not a friend and not a servant, and puts him in contrast with the dog, who is kind of seen as both of these things in a sense.
Like very subservient.
Yes.
And the cat is like,
No.
fuck you all, I'm out of here.
Yes.
I don't like this.
Yes. Because the cat walks by himself and all places are alike to him. And I first heard this quote in Downton Abbey.
Nice.
Because
I love that they have that in Downton Abbey.
yes, they quote it because this one guy, Matthew, he has this whole love story with Mary, And they have this back and forth, and then they get engaged, and then they don't get married after all, blah, blah, and there's love drama. And then he gets injured in the war, and he's in a wheelchair, and he's like, oh, you can't marry me now. And also, he is impotent now, so he's like, I cannot be a real husband.
Because we cannot procure children together.
Yes. It's kind of weird, because first when he can't walk, she's like, oh no, of course I will still marry you. And then when she finds out that they can't have babies or have sex, she's like, oh, well, I guess he's not that great after all.
Well, actually, I don't want you anymore.
And then he goes like, oh, you know, you don't have to feel like you have to look after me. I'm the cat who walks by himself, and all places are alike to him, but he can't walk. Ironically.
Wow.
And then he finds this other girl who he wants to marry, and then she dies of the Spanish flu.
Oh my god. This has so many layers. My god.
And that's the plot of the first 2 seasons, I think.
Of Downton Abbey, you just summarized it.
I mean,
There's
part
more
of
to
it.
it.
There's
There's
a
more to
lot
it.
more to it. There's a lot more to it. I left out all the cool gay stuff.
I watched Downton Abbey once, but I feel like I've forgotten everything.
There's a lot going on.
So much going on, so many characters.
It's kind of funny because my sister and I used to watch it together, and I was always really invested in like the storylines of the servants,
No,
and
me
I
too.
loved those. And she was like not bothered about them. She was like a full-on.
The upstairs people.
When rewatching it, I sometimes only watch the downstairs scenes, and she only wanted to watch the upstairs
Wow.
scenes. And I was like, no, they're always just like their problems were so dumb.
Also not even problems at all.
They were like, oh, do I marry this rich man or this rich man? Well, the other people were going to prison.
Yeah,
Like, that was a lot more
starving.
There was this one Irish guy who was really torn because he didn't know if he should like join the Easter Rising or not. Like, that was so much more intense.
So true.
I loved the bit where the Irish guy did like a little vandalism on this one guy from the British Army. There was this like high-ranking British Army guy coming to their house, and he like spilled a pot of ink on him. I loved that. That was fantastic.
That sounds so great.
It was really good. Everyone thought he wanted to assassinate him.
No, I just wanted to like, I don't know, annoy him.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Anyways, back to the cats.
These kind of human cats, they are often kind of agents of the carnivalesque. If you don't know what the carnivalesque is, it's one of the coolest things I learned in university.
Love the carnivalesque.
That's basically always when order is temporarily disrupted and everything descends into chaos. And, you know, kind of people's social status gets turned upside down, and they can do crazy shit for a certain period of time, which would be the carnival, which is why it's called that, because during the carnival you get like a phase where people can kind of escape their social roles.
You can reinvent yourself and be someone else
Exactly,
without
yes.
repercussions.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of the time these cats do. One of the classic carnivalesque cats, which is also kind of a human cat, is the Dr. Seuss Cat in the Hat.
Cat in the Hat.
Yes! Because Cat in the Hat has human qualities. He can speak, he wears clothes. Basically, at the beginning, I think he's just a normal cat, and then the mom leaves the 2 kids alone with the cat, and then the cat starts speaking to them and questions all the rules that the mother gave them, and then they just turn everything into chaos, and the kind of their imagination can run free, and the kids can kind of play really freely and try things out and cause chaos, and they literally turn the house upside down in the story.
Amazing. The cat is such an instigator.
The cat is fantastic. And then when the mother comes back home, the cat just makes all the traces of the chaos disappear, so the kids don't get in trouble, because the kids notice the mom coming back and are like, oh, we'll be in trouble, and then the cat just magically makes everything disappear. The article by Nikolayeva, she says that here the cat can also be interpreted as a manifestation of the child's imagination that's not restrained by the adult world.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's really cute. I love
like
that.
that.
That's really, really sweet. But also that then when the adults come back, they kind of have to rein in their imagination again a bit, and they kind of learn to control it. I really love this idea that the cat chaos is just the kids being able to be kids without any...
Causing mayhem.
Yes.
And then social order is restored once
Yes.
the parents come back. Classic carnivalesque.
We love it. It's basically Midsummer Night's Dream, but with cat.
More fun because there's a cat.
And I think this, again, kind of reflects this idea of cats as these kind of liminal creatures that are not held back by boundaries or human logic, but that are able to transgress them. And then, again, there's also a thing that allows them to cross between worlds and adds to this magical quality. So I think in all the versions that we've seen, there's always something magical about them. So in each of these iterations, the cat has a certain magical in-between quality to it, where it kind of exists between different states. I think this is one of the things that has kind of run like a thread throughout most of the stories we've heard today. No matter from which period or which part of the world, there are these two qualities that we assign to cats that stand out. One, this ambivalence, this liminal creature, this crossing between worlds, this kind of fluid in-between thing. And the other is the association of the cat with the feminine, where the cat is either perceived as a female creature or she is a companion of women. Now, we've seen a few exceptions to that with Puss in Boots, but again, that was very deliberate. So I think in general, this association is very strong and it appears again and again. And that is the last point I would like to look at today in a little bit more detail. Because yeah, from the female goddesses we briefly talked about at the beginning, like Bastet and Freya, over several of the magical and shape-shifting cats, the association with witches and witchcraft, and even many of the fairy tale cats, there is this kind of inextricable link between cats and the feminine, and it's kind of for better or for worse. It often is in the situation where it then kind of turns out bad for the cats and the women. Sadly, as we've seen, with the cats being burned alongside their owners for witchcraft. And I found a really interesting article that talks about kind of the political use of cats sort of in the context of women's rights, specifically by suffragettes. There's an article by Larissa Schulte-Nordholt with the beautiful title, From Pussy Panic to a Fascination with Felines.
Oh, that is a beautiful title.
Great. And this is an article that focuses mostly on the prominence of cats in both anti- and pro-suffragette postcards and ads in the early 1900s. And here she also talks about this kind of duality of the cat, but how different elements of the cat were associated with different, like, female archetypes. So she said that in Victorian England, the cat was associated with women, both in a positive and in a negative way. So the sweet domestic cat asleep on the hearth or like in a woman's lap and like being cozy and cute and quiet and passive.
I see where this is going.
Yes. This was kind of linked to the ideal of the wife who stays inside and takes care of the home and the children, the angel of the house, to use a term that the Victorians were fond of. And the other type of cat was kind of the feral alley cat. So there were a lot of city cats, and they were kind of a symbol for the untamed, willful women who, some of them were just existing visibly in public, not really doing anything. These were often kind of women who were seen as not respectable. So working class women who had to work in public spaces. There were, for example, a lot of working class women who had to sell stuff in the street. From that to sex workers, that was all kind of included in that range of this kind of alley cat image. And later on, the suffragettes became associated with this feral alley cat, because this is basically a cat who doesn't want to stay in the domestic space, who goes out into the world by herself, sneaks around and does whatever she wants to do.
Outrageous.
And then she even has the audacity to like speak up for herself.
To demand rights.
Yes, crazy. So this was an image that was picked up by a lot of anti-suffragette propaganda, basically. There were a lot of postcards printed around this time. Apparently that was very, very popular. And there were a lot of popular anti-suffragette postcards that used cats. One popular image were kind of these pictures of families that kind of descended into chaos including the pet cat of the family, when the mother isn't there, when she's at an important committee meeting with her suffragette sisters. Or then there were images of cats kind of holding signs, calling for the right to vote, or even, and I really like this slogan, they were calling for the fall of the tomcat.
The fall of the tomcat. That's amazing.
That is so cool.
So cool.
I think we should bring that back. Even though it was probably... That's kind of an interesting case with this postcard. She talks a little bit more in detail about this postcard because it was probably an anti-suffragette postcard. But the text on the back is written by a suffragette who sent it to a friend and was like, hey, this is exactly what we'll do.
This is what I want to do. You're in?
Yes. And this is the next thing she talks about, that a lot of the time these images were then kind of reclaimed by the suffragettes and they used them as material for themselves and started to create their own kind of cat-based postcards.
That is so fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's one more awful thing, unfortunately.
Oh no.
And this, I kept this in because it really reminds me of the things where they burned the cats alongside the women. Because a lot of these anti-suffrage postcards that had cats on them were, well, many of them were drawings, but some of them were photographs, and they were done with taxidermy cats that they dressed up in dresses, and most of these cats were killed specifically for these images.
Oh no, that's so bad.
And the author of the article, she links this again to how the oppression of women and the oppression of cats is often kind of goes hand in hand, and basically the violence against these cats is used inadvertently to represent the violence against women.
They've been linked through centuries.
Mm-hmm.
That's so fascinating. Thank
It's
you.
really interesting, right? It's how this connection is so ingrained. And actually, Nordholt insinuates, he kind of has an idea why women and cats are linked so much. Her thesis is that this link comes up because both women and cats, you know, I mentioned the other thing that the cat stories all have in common, this kind of ambivalence and this fickleness that they can't really be controlled and we can't really grasp them. And Nordholt thinks that the reason why cats and women are associated so much in our thoughts is because they both have this quality of ambivalence and this yearning for independence that in a patriarchal culture is kind of judged negatively.
Oh my god, I love this. So interesting.
Right? And that for both of them it's kind of considered suspicious when they wander off on their own and kind of do their own thing, and people are like, what are they doing there? It's kind of sus. Yeah, because they kind of have their own world and their own interests that sort of the main narrative doesn't have access to.
They're moving between worlds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's probably also the reason why a lot of the time when cats and women are associated with each other, it's in these kind of more negative images, at least in more modern and kind of more Western depictions.
It's always the negative that sticks.
Yeah, it's like the witches, the magic, the bringing death, all of that stuff.
The alley, what was it?
The alley cat.
Feral alley cat.
Yes. Yeah, I think this really fits also this kind of long-standing thing of, you know, how women were or are still considered this kind of ungraspable, mysterious other, or like the main cultural narrative is like, oh, they're so confusing, they never know what they want, blah, blah, blah. And it really made me think of the Sigmund Freud quote where he describes women and women's sexuality as the dark continent.
Does he do that?
Yes!
Oh my god.
It's kind of unknowable and mysterious.
Like cats, they're also unknowable and mysterious.
Exactly.
That's beautiful.
And I think we need to lean into that because that's so much cooler to be unknowable and mysterious.
So goal is to be Catwoman.
Yes. Be Catwoman, be mysterious. Don't listen to Freud.
Don't listen to men.
Especially not the ones who murder cats.
Cause a little mayhem.
Exactly.
As long as it's consensual.
We return to Eartha Kitt with, do you know the song I Wanna Be Evil?
No.
That's exactly this. It's a song about her just wanting to be like, she's not even evil, she's just being a nuisance to people for no reason because she thinks it's fun.
Big cat energy.
Big cat energy. She's like, oh, I want to go to the theatre and change my seat at the last minute so I can step on everybody's feet.
That is big cat energy.
Yes.
It's giving pushing things off a table for the fun of it.
Yes, I am calling for a bit of harmless mayhem.
Harmless mayhem,
Yes.
that's good.
Perfect. We love a bit of harmless mayhem. For this last point, I would like to end with a short tale from Zimbabwe. Different continent, same connection. Fascinating. This story kind of is an explanation within the mythology of why the cat is the companion of women and how the cat became domesticated. And I think it just encapsulates all of this really well. And this story is called The Cat Who Came Indoors.
Ooh.
And this version is from a book called Favorite African Folktales that was collected by Nelson Mandela. And it's like a children's book. So he just went and made a little collection of African folktales for kids.
That is such a fun side quest.
It's really
For
adorable.
Nelson Mandela
Right?
to have.
This is the story of a wild cat. She is also a girl, that's important. And she lives in the forest. And there, one day, she meets another wild cat. This wild cat is a boy. And she falls in love with him. And she thinks he is the greatest creature on the planet. And she will stay with him forever. But then, one day, a leopard appears. The leopard jumps out at her boy-cat companion. And the cat is, like, really scared. And throws himself in the dust and is, like, frozen with shock. And then she's like, huh, that cat's not so great after all, the leopard.
The leopard though.
The leopard though. And she says, okay, the leopard is the most majestic creature, the greatest creature. So she teams up with the leopard and she stays with the leopard for a bit. But then a lion appears and the lion attacks the leopard and the leopard stands no chance. She's like, okay, I guess the leopard wasn't that great either.
The lion though.
The lion though. And she teams up with the lion. So she's with the lion for a bit, walking through the forest and the
foliage.
The foliage. So she's wandering around with the lion, and then they meet an elephant. And the elephant just stamps on the lion. Lion's done. The cat thinks, well, the lion wasn't that great anyway.
The elephant though.
The elephant though. So she teams up with the elephant. She runs around with the elephant. And one day, a man appears. And she's like, huh, this is just like a small little man. What's he gonna do? But the man takes out his gun and shoots the elephant. And the elephant is dead. And she thinks, wow, that guy's really powerful. Maybe the elephant's not that great, but...
I don't want to say the man though.
Not the man though. Yeah, so she teams up with the man because he could kill the elephant, so he's the most powerful, the greatest creature. She follows the man home, and the man lives in a hut. So she climbs on the roof of the hut, and she chills there, and is like, oh, this is good. I'm having a great time up here. And then one day, she hears a commotion in the hut, and she hears voices arguing. And next thing she sees is the man thrown out of the hut into the dust. And then the woman comes out of the hut. And the cat thinks, well, that man wasn't that great.
The woman though.
Yes. And so the cat comes into the house and sits by the hearth next to the woman. And there she sits to this day.
Beautiful story. I love how like the woman trumps all.
Yes.
Amazing. Such a good story, thank you.
Of course. I like that it kind of picks up this connection again and kind of brings it all nice. Ties into a nice little bow. And this time without this kind of negative spin. So that's really cool. I love that.
Me too.
Just a good place to end this episode. With our little independent, capricious, ambitious little cat.
As she should be.
As she should be. Yeah, and with that we have reached our end.
Thank you so much for having me. I
course.
enjoyed it so much.
Oh, I'm so glad you were
I
here.
loved learning about all the different cats and the cat lores.
Nice.
It was wonderful.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it. We have ended, but the tales of cats, charming and clever and treacherous and bloodthirsty and beautiful, they will continue. I don't think they will ever end. They will continue as they have for millennia. But we will leave them alone now to attend to their secret business that us humans won't understand anyway.
They should concern themselves with the cat kingdom.
Exactly. They can do their own
Mischief and mayhem and,
Indeed.
traveling to hell and turning people into vampires and whatnot.
That's right. Also love that you said 2/3 of the title of this episode.
What's the title?
It's a magic, a mischief, meow. We shall say goodbye to cats. We shall also say goodbye to our cat correspondent and expert meower, Charlotte.
Goodbye, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It was lovely to have you back.
I had the best time.
And I hope you, beloved listener, had a fantastic time, a catastic time even. If you did, it would be wonderful if you followed Midnight Culture Club. Either subscribe on Spotify or the Midnight Culture Club YouTube channel, which exists now, where you'll find both the regular episodes and some shorts about kind of more up-to-date stuff, like the new Frankenstein movie that I keep bringing up all the time.
You're obsessed with that movie.
It is so good. But most importantly, remember the first rule of Midnight Culture Club and tell everyone. Your local spinster who tends to a forever increasing herd of black cats, the cats themselves, Antonia Banderas, and of course the leader of your suffragette committee, tell all of them about Midnight Culture Club. And thus, I transform back into my true cat form. You didn't really think I was just a human, did you?
Of course not.
Spreading the cat propaganda. Never. Now I saunter away on my soft little paws into the night to catch some tasty mice. And when I return with a full belly and perhaps a new spell in my pocket, I hope to see you again here on the nocturnal side. Sweet dreams and good night.